I'm planning on posting in the description either for one of the two videos or maybe even both of them, just so you know what the item you get from that village actually is. I hope it's not something really important, because I'm not gonna either, because it's pretty much impossible for me to get it now. I don't think I'd be able to get there in time. And I'm not gonna redo the chapter just for, I don't even care if it's a freaking hammer and staff. Which is a staff that, I know it's not that, because it's a staff there's only one of, and you actually get, I think it has like 2 or 3 uses, but it actually you use it on one of your weapons, and it actually restores all the weapons uses. So definitely, like on a Manikati or a Wolf Bale, it definitely will be worth doing. Which is why you don't want to just waste it early in the game. Another reason, because then once you actually do use all of its uses up later on, if you have the hammer and staff, you can use the weapon entirely. As Puzon has finally decided to show up, he is a mercenary class. It might say he's a bandit, but his class of what am I trying to say? His class of like warrior is a mercenary. Which is pretty much a they're sword wielding like myrmidons, but they don't have quite the same speed. However, their defense is better. And Matthew's not going to help me there. And I cannot break that completely. I'm thinking I kind of want to just go after the village just to see if I could get it, but since there are 2 turns left, I doubt I will, and I might not be able to kill Pouzon either without risking Hector severely. Because then if I move Hector, I'm going to be in trouble because of the fact that the boss is going to get through Pouzon, and then we also have the Myrmidon behind him, and then the Nomad behind him. Which could be an issue if they all attack the same unit, which they probably would. Because Pouzon's pretty strong. I mean, he's certainly not incredibly strong. He's a level 10 mercenary, but for what he is, he's decently strong. I mean, 10 strength with a steel sword isn't something you really want to mess with that badly. Now, is Hector probably going to die? Probably not, but who knows. And if that Myrmidon was smart enough to move out of the way and let the Nomad attack, then it might be an issue. So I'm probably just going to retreat here. And which is a very effective strategy quite often. Less effective in these timed battles where you want to get as many kills as possible, but especially in just a normal defeat all the enemies or defeat boss or seize gate chapter. It's one of the more effective strategies that we're going to be utilizing quite often. So don't always think that your only options are to attack with whatever unit is the least likely to die. You could always just retreat and not get killed at all. And that would be a bad idea, and that would be almost as bad of an idea unless he criticaled somehow, which would be amazing, but he'd probably die anyway from the Myrmidon and the Nomad who would eventually attack. If you go there and you heal, so that works. And then if I take, maybe if I take Matthew and, because I can't use, I've already moved, yeah, I can take Matthew and rescue Sarah. And now, wow. Okay, so that worked out better than I thought it would. And maybe I will actually have a chance to kill the boss. I'm just going to send these two guys kind of up. Neither of them have any chance of getting to the village, but I just want to take out any stragglers that have decided not to rush forward and attack. And you're going to go after... Okay, so you're almost dead. I could take you out with whoever I felt like taking. And Myrmidon is no issue at all. I hate wasting the Wolf Bell. But I think the Wolf Bell is not quite as big of a deal as the Monocotti, because it's easier to find a strong axe than it is to find a really good sword. And I'm going to be using a lot more swordsmen than axe wielders in the game. So, like, if I have one good sword and one good axe, I might only have the decision between like one or two people as to who to give it to, as opposed to having a sword where I might have to choose between Eliwood or Lynn or so on and so forth and so forth. So, so I'd say the Manicotti is more important to keep than the Wolf Bell. But we did kill the boss. I'm very happy. Guy actually got the kill. And before I actually do make this mistake, which I'm sure I will probably at some point, if I call anybody Joshua, I do mean Guy. The only reason I would call somebody Joshua is because the Myrmidon that you get in Fire Emblem Sacred Stones, or Fire Emblem 8, which is... It's not really a sequel to this game because it's not the same characters or same storyline or anything. But it's the next Fire Emblem game in the series. So even though there's no connection, but that's the Myrmidon that I use in Fire Emblem Sacred Stones, so... I might call Guy Joshua, just because... Oh, and Lone leveled up. So he's at, what, level 4? Okay. Yeah, Lone's defense for a low-leveled unit is really nice. Like, he's probably going to have better defense than Sane. Like, he at level, like, 5 will probably have better defense than Sane at level 15. Unless I use, like, a defense item on Sane. And nobody's going to get to the village, which is sad, but... Again, I'll post a... Or in this description, I will put a description of what the item is. And I'm just going to use markers to seal off this end, so that nobody gets killed. Oh, and that's it. So I think we got all the enemies. So we're going to chase the bandits away, and because we did this, and saved Merlinus and all of his merchandise, he is actually going to join our group. And if you're thinking that how is a merchant going to help us fight, well, he's not going to fight. It is actually kind of awkward to explain how we use him. It's probably going to be easier to explain next chapter when we actually do. But pretty much he appears as a tent on the battlefield, takes up 1 square, and you can't choose where you put him, and he does not move. But now, like, if you want to buy 10 items with 1 character, instead of not being able to because you couldn't hold them all, you'll actually be able to send items to Merlinus. And you can also walk up adjacent to the tent and trade stuff. Like, he will hold, let's say you have an extra sword that you're not using, you can give it to him and he'll store it instead of having to waste one of your storage units for one of your characters. And then if you go over to a square adjacent to it, you can actually trade with him and give him stuff and take stuff from him. But he can also be attacked by enemies. However, getting attacked by the enemies is not a big deal. If he dies, he comes back next chapter. But if you actually get him to survive the chapter, he'll level up automatically which just makes it harder for the enemies to kill him. So, when I say I'm doing like a perfect, I want to do a perfect run where I don't lose any of my characters, that does not include not killing Merlinus. I'm gonna choose to put Merlinus in the battlefield every time, and if he gets killed, I don't really care. It's for any of my actual melee or melee/magic units. I don't care if Merlinus gets killed every single chapter. But anyway, that's about it. I'll see you guys next video for chapter 14.